Hello, friends. Oh,
Hello,
my
hello,
goodness.
hello.
I am so excited for a brand new week. We had a good
It
week
is
last
Monday,
week,
that's
didn't we?
right.
It was all about sunflowers, super
Oh,
fun.
yes, yes.
Oh, my goodness, I
That's
enjoyed
beautiful.
it so much. The set looked so pretty, and, you
Yeah,
know, who
yeah.
doesn't love a sunflower? But this week, we're off to a brand new start, and we can't wait to do it with you. So welcome to 3 Themes at 3, where theme number 1 is something to smile about, theme number 2 is something to learn, and theme number 3 is something to discover. Let's go. Oh my goodness, it's good to be with you all.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I've got Kyle and Crystal in the house. So excited. Are you all rested from Kimberbell Day?
Oh, did you watch the whole thing? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I was the one
did.
that messaged you.
Yes, I did. And many of you were with us for Kimberbell Day, and we had a great time, didn't we? We had a
It was fun.
fiesta siesta.
Yeah.
And boy, did I siesta
I
on
was gonna
Saturday.
say.
When I got home, I was like, peace out, folks.
Yeah. It's a lot, but it's
It was
fun.
a lot. You know, the interesting thing about things like that is that there's a lot of behind the scenes that is
Yeah.
You have
happening.
no
Yeah.
idea.
That, you know, sometimes people go, oh, you know, it might seem simple just to throw it together, but
Sure.
there is so much behind the scenes. You have no
'Cause
idea.
you want everybody to have a good time.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Well, I'll tell you, if you were in the store on Saturday and Friday, I should say, they had a piñata.
I saw that.
I just
Boy.
cracked up. Like,
They
does
did it
that take you
outside,
back to
didn't
your
they?
childhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did it one Christmas right in the middle of the room with the Christmas tree there.
Not a good idea.
Bad
Not a
idea.
good idea. In fact, I was giving Sherry a bad time because I was looking at the video and I said, where was the blindfold?
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's like, really, Kris? Do you think that would be a good idea? And I was like, oh,
that's
yeah,
funny.
maybe not
Probably
so much.
not. We don't want anybody hit. No, that's not good.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I have to
So-
say, you could tell it was older ladies, not
Yes.
kids, because nobody like hit the ground for that stuff.
Exactly. Like, where was the brawl, all-out brawl? You know, everyone was being so nice
Yes.
and polite,
Oh, well,
you know, pulling up their stuff.
Maybe they
but
knew they were being filmed.
Maybe so. Like, I can't be too excited,
No.
right?
No. Was it chocolate?
No, it was better than chocolate.
Really?
It was a bunch of Kimberbell stuff.
Yeah.
I would have dove.
Yeah.
I would have dove for sure.
I don't doubt that, Kyle.
Oh my goodness. But it was so fun too. And it was great to have people from all over the country join us virtually.
Oh, yes.
So if you were a part of that, thank you for being with us. And, you know, Kimberbell's website had a few glitches on that Saturday. You know,
Nice.
imagine that, right? all these
You
people
can
trying to get on
never
all at once.
outthink it.
You never know. But it's up and running and beautiful today.
Good.
I had no problems. I was able to get some of my background quilting designs that I wanted
Oh.
because they're 30% off.
Today?
Today, yes,
Until
it goes
midnight.
through midnight. So if you have not had a
Midnight?
chance to get in on that
Yeah.
amazing
30?
deal from Kimberbell,
That's a lot.
it is a lot, 30% off of all of their digital downloads, their digital designs. So
Wow.
be sure to check that out. And if you can use our affiliate code, we'd be so grateful. So Anne-Marie said, wasn't there a bad thunderstorm on Saturday? Yes. Yes, there was.
Yeah.
We had the big Menden celebration. So we had the parade, that they were trying to do
Yes.
in the thunderstorm.
Oh, that's scary.
Luckily, it went away. And then just before the ball games and
wow.
fireworks,
Yeah.
we all
I
had to
hid in
go
the
to a
basement.
car.
Did
You
you?
did in the
I
basement?
did. I went to the basement. I'm like, this is crazy.
I haven't heard
Wild.
thunder that loud in a long
That
time.
one big clap right above
Oh
our
my
house.
Shook the whole house. Yeah.
And the power went
So,
out, of course, twice.
anyway.
And you know what, Kyle? I didn't say very nice things.
No, I can't
husband looked
imagine. Where did
doesn't hear
that
that
come
from me.
from? All right, friends. Well, we hope you had a great weekend, and we're excited for a brand new start to a week. And you know us, we love to do a theme. And so, are you ready for this week's theme? Okay. I don't know if I believe it fully, but we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to believe that a tip a day keeps the seam ripper away, shall we?
Oh, good
Okay.
idea.
A tip a
Okay,
day
yeah.
keeps the seam
Just
ripper
like
away.
an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Exactly. So we're gonna try this theory out, and obviously, if you got to pull out that seam ripper, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we hope this week that we're going to share with you all kinds of different tips, not just one tip, but lots and lots of tips
You
throughout the
need
week.
a sharp seam ripper. It doesn't last your lifetime. Seam rippers
Right?
don't last your lifetime. I realize
Yes.
that. I'm like doing like this, and I'm like, what is wrong?
It's kind of like a rotary blade, Kyle. If you're gonna be using that, and if
I
you
torture
start
myself.
sawing,
Yeah.
you are just bad news.
You need
good
to
idea.
replace
You
it.
got to
Then you could make a hole in your fabric.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Well, there
I
you
bought
go.
a new one.
That's a good tip to start us
Yes,
off with.
it is.
So we hope you'll join us all week long, because this is what we're going to be talking about. And we've kind of divided it up into sections each day as well, which I'm really excited about. So even, today we're going to talk machine embroidery, all right? But I don't want to lose any of you who are not machine embroiders, because there is always something to be learned.
Yep.
Always something. And besides, you never know what craziness is going to go on over there, and you want to be here for all of it.
We've already discussed what could happen.
Exactly, what could possibly happen. Tomorrow we're going to be diving into sergers, and on Wednesday we're going to be talking about sewing, and we have a special guest coming that I'll share at the end of today's program and let everyone know who it is. But we have a designer who's going to come in.
A designer?
Yes, a designer who's coming, and we're going to share some sewing tips. And then on Thursday we're going to finish with long arming tips. So there is something every single day to be found, right? So, all right. William wants to know, how many days does tipping a cow count for, Kyle?
If you can do it, you get 5.
There you go. Hey, Diane has a good tip. She said you can sharpen your seam ripper with a nail file.
I did not know
I
that.
would have never thought of
I
that.
never thought of
Me
it.
neither.
That is a great tip, Diane.
I'll have
All
to
right.
try it.
Yes.
No, I'll just buy a new one.
Yeah, right. All right. So, as I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about machine embroidery tips. All right. And for theme number 1, we wanted to, of course, give you something to smile about. And these two have gone to town because hopefully they're going to be able to share some things. Well, I know they will, that I bet a lot of you can relate to. All right. So now we're going to say it brought a smile to us because it didn't happen to us.
Yeah, but I've experienced
But
all of them.
we have experienced, I have too. We've experienced them all. But we asked, well, go ahead, Kyle. What did you do this
Okay.
last week? You were
So-
talking to customers.
I was talking to some customers, and I was sworn not to use their names.
Oh, yes.
It's just
yes,
my friends,
yes,
my girlfriends.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I asked them, do you have any embroidery fails? Mm-hmm. And they're all like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they just throw them away.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Who
'cause-
saves?
Because you're so
Something you
mad, I
just
chop them
messed
up in
up.
little
Yeah.
pieces.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But they brought me some embroidery fails.
Okay, so let's go
Ready?
ahead and take a look at these. And again, I'm sure it's something that a lot of you at home can relate to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So look at this darling towel.
Yes. Very
Darling
cute.
towel. She put some topper on it,
Uh-huh.
but it's not wash away.
Oh.
So she's having to pick each
Oh.
little section. That's pretty intricate.
That is so sad.
Okay, but
Yeah.
now, oh yeah, she doesn't want you to see the name because that'll give away who she is.
I think she's pretty safe. Her
Yeah, I think
secret's
so.
safe with
And then
us.
on the back, she also didn't use wash away.
Okay.
She did tear away. So
right.
she's having
Yeah.
to, she's going to take it all all out and she gets it done because she doesn't want to redo this.
Well, I think that, let's take a look at this. I don't think there's anything wrong with using a tearaway if you had a large design, right? That it could easily
But
pull
this was
people
so
from.
intricate.
But when you have something that has a lot of small pieces to it, that's when you're going to run into trouble, right? Okay.
You get
so,
Kind of
frustrated.
3 hours movies worth of
yeah, exactly. That's
Exactly.
exactly right. So, oh, what a bummer. So, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Now, another thing about towels, though, is that some people do choose to use like a
Absolutely.
cutaway, and it stays in the project.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's good reason for that. Why is that?
Well, because if you want stability to your stitches,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then a cutaway is great.
right, it's going to
Yeah.
hold your stitches.
It's going to hold your stitches through multiple washings.
Right.
So, there's pros and cons
may
of
dissolve
all
a
of
little
that.
bit if you left it.
Yes,
After a
that
few
is
It
very
does
washes.
true.
soften up too. That's
Yeah,
the thing. They do
for
soften
sure.
up.
Okay.
And yeah, of course, having to, oh man, what a bummer. But
Tweezers.
it happens.
It does.
Happens, right?
It does.
So, okay, so that's one of the fails. Okay, what else do we
Okay,
have here,
this
Kyle?
happened to me one of my very first times.
Yeah.
How many have had their embroidery design pop out of your hoop?
Oh, been
Nothing-
there, done
nothing
that.
So
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very
and
frustrating.
she was in the middle of something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something
Now-
like that. Can you fix that?
Well, if you have
If you-
camera.
Yeah, if you've got a camera, if you
Yeah.
have a positioning
Yes.
app or something like that, you could certainly fix it. The best thing you can do is
Start over.
maybe start over. I don't know. That's a tough one for those who
It
might
is.
not have
Yeah.
some of those fancy
And that
ways
might make
around
you
it, right?
try and, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. But there are ways to solve it.
Yeah.
There are definitely ways. In fact, I would at least certainly try.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't just give up.
Do you know what I would do
certainly
now?
try. What's that?
If I couldn't get it lined up,
Uh-huh.
I would do some hand stitching with it.
Oh, that's a
not
good idea.
That's a great idea. I like that. Okay. All right. What else did a customer
Okay.
bring?
And then we've got one near and dear girlfriend
Yes.
who's just learning
Yes.
to embroider.
Yes.
She did the boo in the pumpkins and potions
Yeah, yeah.
quilt. She did everything great, except she forgot the batting.
Yes, yes.
And that's one of the first steps you do. She did the background quilting. She just forgot the batting.
Yeah,
I've done that.
Absolutely. And she brought this into me and she said, what happened? Why is this so puckering?
Puckering.
And I'm looking at it because you don't have to have batting.
No, you don't have
have to
to.
have batting. But then when I started noticing, I'm like, oh, we've got background quilting on there, and I'm looking
pretty
at
dense.
these 2 additional squares going around it, and I said, those squares were meant for your batting,
Batting, yeah.
right?
Yep.
So now she's like, okay, so she's going back to,
Yeah, I bet
Doing
she doesn't
it.
forget.
and she probably won't forget, but that is a really good thing to remember is if you are going to be doing background quilting, I certainly recommend
Yes.
use the batting step, right?
Yep,
All
that's
right,
a good
and
idea.
that will help tremendously. All right, what else do you have?
Okay, and then this is the one,
These are cute blocks.
really cute. But
Yeah.
can you see what she's done there? She trimmed it too close.
Oh,
She doesn't have
yes,
her
she has
seam
a
allowance.
1/4 inch seam
Okay,
allowance.
yes, on the
She didn't leave her seam allowance.
Yep. So she
looks
got
pretty
really
good.
excited and put it in. So
What would you do with that now?
You know what? I would absolutely, certainly still use it.
I would
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I would be a little more
Scant.
lenient on maybe doing like an 1/8 inch seam allowance.
Yes, absolutely.
Or I would at least use it in another project that it didn't have to match up with everything else.
That's true.
Because that is just too cute for
Oh,
words.
yeah, that's a lot of work.
And I would not want to get rid of that.
No.
Okay. So
No.
what else do you
I
have?
think this one was pretty good, but look at that bobbin coming up.
Yeah, yep. We've got issues with bobbin
Your
and
bobbin in
tension
the
there.
black coming through.
Okay. Oftentimes, when something like that happens, what's going on is you just need to rethread the top.
Yes.
Okay, so you're rethreading. A lot of times, when people think that that's a bobbin issue, but usually it actually has to do with threading
Yep.
the top. So I rethread the top. And so forth. Yeah, Carol said she would frame it, and that's
Yeah,
a great idea
that's a
too.
good idea.
Where it didn't have to be sewn into anything.
That's true.
All right.
This one
and
is
another
one that's pretty good.
Okay.
I think it puckered a little bit on her. I don't think she had stabilizer
I-
on the back of the.
Yeah, you know, I'm not finding that to be an issue. I think it looks actually really
cute.
good. So whoever's watching this, if you did this one, I think you did a fantastic
Yeah,
job.
she did a great
So,
job.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more.
Then here's mine.
Okay.
And it popped out of my embroidery hoop.
Okay.
And this was years ago, and I'm like, oh.
And you still kept it.
I kept it.
Good
I
for
kept
you.
the zipper with it.
Yeah.
I had to find an inside. But guess what I did? Since I have learned how to make bags,
Yeah.
little bags like this, I just sewed it.
Exactly.
I just sewed it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to see that.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to know
No,
at all.
No.
Nobody will know.
No, and it still works.
So I kept
Beautifully.
it. Normally I don't keep them, but I kept this one because I really like the fabric. So
Yeah.
those were mine.
I think all of these are very relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've all done it.
And for example, if I have to pull out my seam ripper, I try not to just
Yeah, I
get
know.
so frustrated because then
It's
I
your
take all the
friend.
joy out of it. It's my friend. I say, you know what? I'm still a good person. I'm a good wife. I'm a good mother. I'm all the good things. Even though I had to pull out that seam ripper, it is a-okay.
You know what I really like? Is
What's
an
that?
electric seam ripper
Yeah,
too.
yes, that works too. Yeah, Betty said they're cute blocks. She would use them and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
For sure. So anyway, lots of things to, I hope those things brought a smile to your face knowing that you're not alone,
No,
right?
no. All these ladies are like, oh, I have one. I have one.
Yeah,
They
and
were
that's
willing
why
to share.
we share. And thank you for those who are being willing to share for sure. Oh, I love that. Hey, Kim is on.
I see that.
Kim, and she says at Kimberbell we have a white elephant box for these kinds of things. Then we let people go through the box and take what they'd like, and they always come up with amazing projects.
One
show it.
person's mistake is someone
Exactly.
else's joy.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well, that brings a smile to my face for sure.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Well, that ends our segment for theme number 1. I'm going to send these two over to theme number 2 because they have some great tips to share with all of you for at the embroidery machine. And as they go over there, let's take a quick look at the Baby Lock Joy from our recent Swig Night.
Is such a great time.
This is a great little machine for a beginner or even as a travel machine for you.
Yes.
So if you don't need all the bells and whistles, this is your perfect go-to.
It also has a free arm sewing, so for your cuffs and your pant legs. It does have a thread cutter on the side of the machine.
I'm ready.
Okay, so Kris asked us, what's our favorite embroiderer tool,
Okay.
right? And my first thing is my hoop. I love the magnetic hoop. What did you say to me, Kyle?
No, it pinches my fingers. Oh,
So
it's
Kyle
not fun.
does not, she has one,
I
and
have a
she
great
does
big
not
one.
like it. Okay, so I am going to show you a
Yay.
whole bunch of different ways today of using your magnetic hoop. And
Tips and tricks.
I'm not going to promise you don't pinch your finger, but let's try not
But
to.
don't let me do it on camera.
Right. Okay. So first thing I'm going to show you, I have 2 different sizes and Kyle has the large one. So I'm going to do most of my demos today on the small one.
Okay.
So this is the small. This is a dime magnetic hoop. It comes with the outside part of your frame, the bottom part of your frame, and this is the little.
And that's your
I don't even
friend.
want to know what it's actually called. It goes in between. You don't ever want to put this one directly on there. You
It's
always
my
want to leave
friend.
this one. It helps with the pinching. So the best part of these frames is that it holds your fabric, it holds whatever you're quilting on your embroidery machine without having to tighten the screw,
Yeah, 'cause sometimes you
untighten
can
it.
pop it as you're doing it.
Right, squeeze. One of our mistakes over there, somebody had popped their design out, and nothing more frustrating. This prevents that. Most of the time, unless you bang it real hard and nudge it, it's not going to pop out of position. Okay, so
Don't
I
just
show-
put it in your bag and expect it to stay
Absolutely,
with all your other things in
yeah,
it.
you do have to be careful with them. So there's a lot of different fabrics, types of material you use to embroider on, and hooping them can be a challenge depending on what it is. So I have come up with a whole bunch of different ones. So first of all, let's go ahead and let's do the t-shirt, onesie, whatever you're,
Because
you know,
people
whatever
like
you can
to
do.
it on those.
They're
and
fun
I
to
looked
do.
at that and went, How are you going to get that embroidered on
They're a
there?
pain to hoop up in
Yeah.
a regular hoop with the little screw thing to get it centered and all. So I'm going to show you a really easy way.
And this way you're not
automatic
stretching
hoop.
it either.
Absolutely. You're not stretching the knit, which is hard to not do when you hoop. Okay, so first things you're going to do, I always take my stabilizer, my
What is that
embroidered.
stabilizer?
This is a medium cutaway, which is recommended when you're doing any kind of knits.
Doesn't that
Okay.
scratch them?
So, no, it doesn't. It softens up, number one. You trim away a lot of it. And then you can always put like an iron softy stuff on the back of the
Okay.
design. So first thing I do, I find the center of this. My hoop, first thing I do before I put the measurement tape or anything like that, this is with a Sharpie, I know my center
That's
lines.
a good idea. Can I
Okay?
ask one more question?
Absolutely.
How did you know what size to cut that?
You can cut it
Just
whatever.
bigger than your
Bigger
hoop?
than your hoop. It doesn't matter. I'm really picky about wasting stabilizers, so
Oh,
I use
yeah.
the smallest amount.
Yeah.
And with the magnetic hoop, you don't have to worry about all that excess that's going to be squeezed in there. Next tip I have is just put a couple pieces of double sticky tape.
Oh, nice.
I just
I
turned
thought
some
this
over.
was genius.
Yeah, and so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my center, my lines, and I'm going to center them right there, and I'm going to tape it down. So I just put it right on those two pieces of tape, just like that.
And you made sure this other side is on there?
Yep.
That's genius.
If you
You
look
can
right
kinda
here,
see through it, too.
right, you can see your lines right there. And so next what I've done is I've put an iron-on stabilizer.
On the front?
Put
Oh, that's inside
See?
out.
So this is on the back. This is an iron-on stabilizer. You know, Kimberbell has an excellent one, I think, that goes right on there and irons on. I find the center of my t-shirt. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I
That
am
helps
going
stabilize the shirt too,
It
doesn't
does, it does. It stabilizes your design. I'm going to match those two right up, just like
Oh.
this.
That easy?
Just like that. You're going to take this and you're going to put it right on the inside. Now I like to put my hand in here so I can feel about where I'm going. And you don't want it to grab, so keep your hand in there. And then you just position it right in there on your frame. Pull all this excess out here. And then when you go to stitch it, you're just going to flip this
Get out.
out here. And you have it centered exactly, just like that. And you're going to embroider right on that. This is all on the outside. You can put like little clips on here if you
Oh,
want
that's a good
to
idea.
hold it out of the
you
way.
just don't want it to go underneath.
And that was my oops. Nothing more frustrating than embroidering the whole thing, going to pull it out, and your frame won't come off because you sewed the arm right into your design over your frame. So you got to be careful on that, making sure your arms and stuff are out of the way. But it just slips right in there. My frame,
I
it is
try not to
right on
walk
top
away
of there.
from my embroidery machine. I'm in the same room with it.
I stay with it. But if you don't see that sleeve slip, especially
Yeah.
long sleeves, you don't see it slip under there, it's frustrating.
Do
Okay,
a double check.
so that's one of the things that I like using this for. I'm going
That's
to
a
tell
good
you another
idea.
one. I'm going to pull this one right over here. So this is, say you're stitching a pillow or a wall hanging or a table runner or anything, something smaller project that has to be quilted. And you're going to use your clear blue tiles.
Okay.
Okay. I have done it many times on my regular hoop where when you have to reposition it, you
Yeah.
have to keep moving it and to get into all your squares. So frustrating to rehoop it. Emphasize it's thick.
And I see you have batting.
Right, so I have put a muslin, I have put a backing, or a batting, and my top. That's a lot to squeeze into a regular embroider hoop.
Do you put stabilizer on it also?
You don't have to if you've got your muslin and you're using like a pillow top. I don't.
Oh.
I just use my muslin as my stabilizer. I'm just doing a background quilting design perhaps. So there again, I have my two lines already marked. This is using the clear blue tiles. I just even them right up with my lines underneath here. And then I take my hoop, I just put it right on top.
I saw that you attached the top first and then let the bottom go down.
Right, right. So
You
you
don't just
slide
drop
it,
it
you
and-
don't drop it right on. Because if it grabs and it's uneven, then you have to pry it
Yeah,
off.
then you
They
have to
do
reposition.
have a little corner here pick it up if you have to. So I've embroidered this. I have to move to my next one. Easy peasy. Just pull it off.
You've already marked it.
I've already marked it. I move it on to my next
that's
one.
your center again?
There's another center. Do the same thing. It's
made
just,
it look
it's so
so
much,
easy.
it is so much easier. Magnetic hoop makes this stuff so easy. So then, so you can do that, a whole great big piece. When you come to your corners and it's not entirely off of here, you don't have to worry about it. It holds. You can put a little piece of tape if you want to.
okay.
But it holds in there. It's got such good grip.
Oh, yeah.
It holds in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So
Nice.
that's if you're doing something quilted.
So you can put batting with the magnetic hoop. It'll
Oh,
still.
absolutely, absolutely. So this is one of most people's biggest challenges. We're going to move on to the medium-sized hoop, or, you know, Kyle, we could even use your large hoop for this. Terry cloth towels. Who has ever tried to hoop? How many times do you try to hoop a terry cloth towel in your traditional embroidered hoop?
No, I'll have to float it.
Oh, you have to float
Yeah.
it. And, you know, if you float it, then you're kind of stuck once it's embroidered. If you wanted to move it, it's embroidered on there.
Yeah.
You can't. You
Can't.
can't float it. So on the magnetic hoops, you're going to do the same idea. You're going to center your stabilizer. I don't have any stabilizer on this one right now, but on this one, I really recommend using a sticky back.
Oh, that's what I use.
Sticky back wash away is probably the best.
And make sure it's all smooth.
Right. We saw that towel over there that had all that stabilizer. If you use a wash away,
It's a
once
lot
you've got
easier.
it all embroidered, you stick it in the water, you wash, and all that dissolves, and you don't see any of that.
So magical.
Yeah. And the same with your topping. You're going to use a wash away topping.
Why do you use a topping on this?
Okay, what happens is when you're stitching anything with the terry fabric, there's so much density and depth to it. Your stitches just sink in there. You
Go to
don't
all
you
that
don't
work
end
and then lose them.
Right, you end up not seeing anything. So if you use one of these toppings, your stitches,
And it stitches right through that?
it does, and they just sit right on top of this. You wash this away and your stitches sit up, especially like if you're doing names, satin stitch, that kind of stuff with,
Yeah.
with a lot of detail. So here again, you're going to do the same idea. This one I haven't centered my things here because I would have already centered it on
On
my
your
stabilizer
stabilizer.
because
Okay.
it's a wash away. So I've marked those lines. I'm going to do the same idea. I'm going to take my towel. Now on this, I've just used, whoops, my topping went down there. I've just used some tape and marked the center because two things. It's terry cloth. You can't mark with a pen, or you
No.
can use a chalk, but it's hard. And it's dark. So you're
Yeah.
not going to see, if you take your pen, friction pen or anything like that, you're probably not going to see
And
it.
this is the same idea. You're going to find your marks on your.
Right, and then I'm going to take my top and I'm just going to snap it right in place there. Look at that.
Okay.
Here's my center, here's my center.
Okay.
How
But
easy
when I
that
go to
goes.
put mine on, I'm going to try not to say bad words.
Yeah,
So I should.
remember all the words we practiced.
Yeah, I can't remember them now.
So you start at the top, Kyle. This is how I do it.
Oh, see? It jumps.
Okay, because you don't have any stabilizer and you don't have any fabric there. You would never do it that way,
I'm just going to put this right
right?
there. Okay.
So you start up here, you catch it, and then you just bring it right down here. Total
Genius.
difference.
Genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
so,
you.
So
Thank
if,
you.
if you're
But
just
look what
trying
I
to
just
drop
did.
it on,
Gotta get that out of
if
there.
you're just trying to drop it on, you're probably not going to get a good centering.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So then our last, or we have two more, but I'll show you this one here. So if we had a stabilizer, let's do this size. We're gonna center, put our stabilizer on there. We're gonna have a center, but this design, we don't want it right in the center.
I've got a question. Is there a rule about how far up you go in a corner? Or you just make your own rules?
You do. You
Thank
do.
you.
It depends on the design, depends on if you're putting a name on there. You know, I always try to center it nicely.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've done here is we're doing a corner. We are not doing we're not doing something up here. Our design up here, which is down here. Okay, so
Okay.
you
move your design down.
Absolutely. On your machine,
I
you're
know
just going to
something.
move your design down. So when you hoop this, really nice hooped right in there, you're going to bring your design right down
And you've
to
got
center.
stabilizer behind
I
this.
have stabilizer behind this. And
Do you use the
this
sticky
one,
back again?
with Minky, preferably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it holds it in place well. You don't
Also,
have
it doesn't
to, but-
stretch and do all the
Right.
weird things.
Here we're going another knit. It's going to stretch. So you don't want
And
to
do you
stretch
use
that
topper
here.
on this also?
Absolutely. Good remembering. I knew a reason that hit the floor I needed it. So yes, Minky is another one that your stitches are going to sink right into your fabric if you don't. So you're just going to use wash away.
Wash away.
Wash away. Make
Yeah.
sure you remember wash
But
away.
you've got this tape on here. Do
Right.
you take that off now?
You do.
Once you've got your design all centered?
Perfect. Perfect. Once you have centered everything, you can embroider over this.
Is
It's
that
a little
Kimberbell
hard.
tape?
This is Kimberbell tape. It
Yeah,
makes
it
it a
does
little
come off.
hard to pull off, but yeah, you can embroider over it. I always pull it off. And then the last one, I'm going to use my small hoop for this one again, is leather. So who doesn't love embroidering on Kimberbell leather? I'm going
It's
to grab
cool.
my paper over here. This is another one. I'm going to take a stabilizer. I'm going to center it.
What do you use on that? Is that tearaway?
This is just a
Cutaway.
cutaway. You know what? I don't know exactly. Things like this I do like tearaway because it
Yes.
already has so much stability.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So now on leather, you're not going to mark your center on the front. It wouldn't come out. You can't iron it out. You can't spray it
Oh.
out. You don't want to ruin your leather.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't want to make a mess of that. So you're going to mark your center on the back. You can still do
Because
it.
your design is down here, you didn't want to put it in the
doesn't
center
matter.
of your whole
right.
leather?
Say you're making a pouch,
Okay.
a zipper pouch, and this is your leather, and you want your design down here in the corner. You don't want to waste a whole bunch of leather
No.
to trim away.
No.
So you can go ahead and center your design down here, and then you're just going to take this and do the same idea. Just going
Genius.
to
And you still have the tape on the
absolutely.
frame.
So you're going to go just like this. I've got my line that way, my line that way. I'm going to lay it
Am I
right
going to
on
cry
there.
if I don't get it exact?
You know what? You're going to be able to, at least my embroidery machine, I can move my needle.
Yes.
I can move my design a little bit. So I do have a little bit of leeway to adjust that. And so then I'm
You did
just
it.
going to put it right on there.
And that's not moving.
And that's not going anywhere.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is several different tricks, methods, all kinds of ways to use the magnetic hoops.
Okay. And on mine, I have a ruler, measurements.
Knockdown stitch, I am not sure.
But
So
what-
Janet's asked us, what is a knockdown stitch? Oh no, I'd have to look that one up,
Oh,
Janet.
yeah, I don't know either.
I am not sure on that.
Yeah, we'll have to get someone that
right.
knows.
So when you buy the dime hoops, magnetic hoops, they do come with tape, measuring tapes. Like Kyle has already put hers, you're just going to center it right there. It's got your inches each way out. I
Right.
have not done that on mine yet. It's like I said, my first thing is I usually only need to know where the center is.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I've taken my Sharpie on my frames. I've just marked it on here. Let me move that over here just
I
a little
obeyed
ways.
the rules.
You did. Good job,
Yeah,
Kyle.
yeah.
You did what you were supposed to do. I try. I
Yeah.
try. So, yeah. So that
These
is
are all the
fun.
different stabilizers that you are using?
They are.
Okay.
And I absolutely love Kimberbell stabilizers.
Oh, yeah.
Before
I don't buy
Kimberbell
anything
came out
but.
with them, I used all different brands, and they worked. They did. But once you start using these, the other thing is Kimberbell actually has a little chart that tells you each stabilizer and what it's best for, what it works best in. Give it a try. You know, there are a couple that sometimes I'm like, I'm going to do a tearaway instead of a cutaway on this one. They know. They've tested it. They've already
yeah.
failed a whole bunch of times to get it right.
That's why they have that box.
Right. And that's why they have a big old chart that tells you. And I know they've came out with a few new ones since the chart that hangs on my wall in my sewing room. I actually have it hanging right next to my stabilizers.
You're so organized.
Yeah, they have some new ones. And when I was getting ready for this, I was looking at it and I'm like, I'm gonna have to see if there's a new one. see what the new ones are
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
So is there any other
They were talking about the knockdown and
a background stitch that knocks
Yeah.
down the terry so you don't? Oh, okay.
get caught in.
Makes sense. I did not know that. Okay, and so I don't know anything about the knockdown stitch. I'm going to have
Maybe
to look
Kris
it
can
up.
talk to us about
Kris
that.
will tell us. So if you do not have a magnetic hoop, if you've never used one, most all machines have them. Most all embroidery machines
You have
that
to get
I
it
know
for your
of.
right machine.
Right, that's the thing. Even the dime hoops, they like these that I have worked for both Baby Lock and Brother, but you can also buy a different one for Janome. You can buy them for the different machines. So we have a whole bunch downstairs. Baby Lock also makes their own.
Oh.
And I know Jackie, you guys know Jackie, she has a Baby Lock embroider hoop and she loves her magnetic one. Yeah, so she really likes that. So give them a call downstairs. Lisa is like a encyclopedia of knowledge on these kinds of things. She's the one that helped me get the right ones. And I started with the 4x4 and ended up going to the next size up just because. So, yeah.
I might try my magnetic hoop now. I've been avoiding it because
I don't think you're going to pinch your fingers now.
It
Now that you
hurts.
know how to bring it in without dropping it
I'm
on your
not to
fingers.
swear.
You crack me up. Okay, Debbie says she only uses magnetic hoops. I pretty much only use them now too. Once I go to trying to use this, my fingers just don't want to tighten that screw.
So I'll need a smaller one too.
This one I use probably most.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I use my 4x4 most because most all things I do are small. I love making pouches. I do tons of pouches with even quilted fabric. I love doing the pillows with just little things in it. So yeah,
Okay.
awesome.
Mine has a
Okay.
crosshair.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
right.
if you have any other questions, by all means, give the store a call. Lisa
Yeah.
can help you, and I'm sure Kyle
Yep.
can help you down
Oh,
there
yeah,
too.
yeah.
She's down the store. Anybody can answer your questions.
We've got
so.
quite a few people that are pretty good with
Yeah,
the embroidery machines.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions?
I don't see anyone. They're talking about different machines. Yeah, it's
Okay.
all good.
So I think we're going to move on to number
Number
3.
Wow, that was a plethora of knowledge. Thank
Yeah.
you, Crystal. I think so many people, I've been reading the comments and they're loving all of the tips you've shared.
Thank you.
So I appreciate your preparation for today's segment because I think there's some really great nuggets here. So thank you.
Yeah, I love my hoops.
And yeah, I'm right there with you. I love my hoops too. And I do have them in all the different sizes. I will share one of the tips that I love when it comes to magnetic hoops and when it comes time to do background quilting designs.
Oh.
I will actually choose the largest hoop that I can, even if I'm doing a smaller design.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because I like to be able to get my needle position centered right over those crosshairs. And when you have a larger hoop, it allows you to move that needle
That's so
exactly where
true.
you want to
That
go.
is absolutely true. Never
But
even
yeah,
thought of that.
I can't say enough good things about the magnetic hoops. So definitely a game changer, I think, in the embroidery
Yeah,
world.
I'll have to do that.
So very, very good. I loved it. Loved everything you shared. So let's talk about something you've discovered recently.
Okay, so in using magnetic hoops and putting all this together, it made me realize how much I use my Kimberbell tape on so much, not only just doing the terry cloth with centering and all that. When you're doing that minky and you have that angle come down that's not getting hooped, it works, but it works so much better if you can tape those you don't want to say naked sides, those sides that are hanging out there.
Are you taping it right on the
Right on your stabilizer.
Yep.
So if your needle or your foot moves off to the side for any reason, it's not going to catch that extra.
How do we
and
know
pull it
that?
over. Exactly. If
Great
you
tip.
have to temporarily mark your hoop for anything, say you're not using the center and you're hooping and you're using and you're doing multiple things, use Kimberbell tape down
And
here.
right on it?
right on the tape where you want. So each block you're bringing in is always centered in the same
Wow.
exact place.
Wow.
The tape
Two
comes
really
right
good
off.
tips.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many ways.
Yeah.
I just live with this stuff.
I
won't
do
tell you
too.
how much of
I
this
never
know.
want to be
Skipping.
without it, for sure.
Don't
Yeah.
skimp on it and try to do little pieces.
I have one
Yes.
of these at my cutting table.
Yes,
I have
yes.
one of these next to my
These
sheen
tape
and at my
dispensers.
iron table.
Yeah, for
I have
Now they have
three.
a few different colors.
For
Yep.
sure. I love it. Well,
So, yeah.
those are some great things to think about when it comes to the Kimberbell
Yeah.
tape. Yes,
I love
definitely. Someone had asked earlier, what is a knockdown stitch? And I just wanted to quickly explain. This is a stitch that you'll often see when people do embroider on towels. And it's something that you really have to put together in your software. So in
Okay.
with your software, it doesn't come on the regular machine, but in your software, you can put a knockdown stitch. You're going to use the same color thread as your towel. And what happens is it's just this very dense, very tiny stitch that brings all of,
So you don't use the topper?
no, you can still use the topper because you
Just brings that
definitely
nap down.
It brings the nap down, exactly. It brings the
Flattens
nap down around the design, and then that way your design stands out from it.
Oh,
Okay.
But it's not, because sometimes what will happen is that nap will just kind of come
Yeah, it does.
over and
It
crawl
So
over
it's not
your
a crisp
stitching.
line.
So the tack down or the knockdown stitch is what
I
kind of
learned
just has
something.
a nice area around it.
It
So,
doesn't fill
anyway.
in the whole design, it's just going around the outside edge?
Correct.
Okay,
Well,
I feel much better.
Well, yes, around the outside edge, and it allows that design
Okay.
to stand up. So
Nice.
hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, well, these are some great things to talk about today. And today was all about machine embroidery, and which you know that we love with a passion and have a great passion for it. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about sergers. And
Sergers.
Stacy's
Fun,
going to
too.
be with me, and I'm very excited
Who
about
is
that.
that? Stacy?
Stacy, Miss Stacy's coming up to hang out with me tomorrow. And then again, Wednesday is going to be sewing. And let's talk about who that special guest is going to be, shall
Okay.
we?
Yes.
So this is someone who had scheduled like right from the very beginning, but unfortunately she had gotten sick, couldn't do it. So now she's going to be with us, Dion Stott from Cold Escapes, and she is going to be joining us. She has a brand new book out that is all about binding.
Oh,
you will
binding.
not want to miss it. Binding and finishes, my friends, and it is an
That
excellent
can
book.
either make your quilt
Oh.
or totally throw it off.
Absolutely. So it is an absolute, just a great resource guide. So I hope you'll join me for Wednesday's show on that. And then, of course, on Thursday, we're going to be talking about some long arming tips. So
Oh, yay.
anyway, again, a tip a day keeps that seam repair away. That's the goal, right? All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up with sharing a few other things that we want you to be aware of. Pumpkins and potions. Let's start with that, shall we?
This one of my
This one
favorites.
is so exciting. I mean, Kyle, you're almost done with yours, and you've been
I am.
having a blast, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are doing a class, a virtual class on August 5th. We want you to join us. If you had purchased your Pumpkins and Potions kit from us, that class is yours absolutely free.
Nice.
But don't worry, you don't have to sign up for it. We know who you are, and you will receive an email with the Zoom link for that. If you did
Nice.
not purchase that kit from us, don't worry, you can still join us, and it's just $10, which is so
For all
inexpensive.
the little tips and tricks.
Yes, and we have 5 different teachers who will be with us that day, and we're going to have a Pumpkins and Potions party. So get all of your pieces cut out, okay? A schedule will probably go out sometime tomorrow to let you know what time we're going to be doing each of the classes, but try and get everything cut out so that you can stitch along with us, or you're welcome just to follow along with us and not stitch at all and do it later.
What day of the week is that?
August 5th is next Monday, I believe.
I may not be here next Monday.
Oh, you might be at your home
might be
doing
in
a
my
virtual
sewing room.
stitching room. Yes,
The
Kyle.
one thing, the reason why I think I loved it so much, it was cute.
Yes.
Really cute. But that I was organized.
It makes a big difference,
Yeah.
doesn't
I was
it?
organized and I obeyed and I wrote down what pieces they were.
Yeah.
It really is a time saver.
Yeah, definitely. So
Procrastination.
it looks like a lot of you have been receiving your Zoom links today.
Yay.
So
Oh, nice.
way to go, Kathy, who is in charge of
She's
sending
on
that
it.
out.
Good.
She's always on
She's
it.
on it.
She is on it, absolutely. All right, we also have a call out for all of you. All right, do you have pets in your home? There's many of you who do. And we would love to see pictures of your pets if they are on quilts. Now, we love pictures of your pets regardless, but in a few weeks, we have a whole pet week coming up that we're really looking forward to. And we would love to show off your pets on quilts. So if they're snuggled in a quilt, if they're by a quilt, please only send in pictures of your pet that is with a quilt. Because
How
I know we'll
fun
be
is
getting
that?
lots of them, but that's the ones that we're going to be able to
What
show.
if I hold up a quilt
that
next
week.
to the cows?
You certainly can do that.
Okay, Kyle.
Do your
I don't want them to touch it,
do
but
your
yeah.
cows have a name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
So definitely, help. We'd love your help with that. So we would just send your picture into
That's gonna be
info@mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com.
fun. I can't wait to see 'em.
I think we're going to start a hashtag called #PetsOnQuilts. Wouldn't that be
Oh,
fun?
how
that's a
cute.
good
So
idea.
why not? Why not? And then finally, we want to let you know that you asked and we answered. If you haven't heard the news, so many of you have been asking for the tea towel designs that we have done thus far for this year on the 24th of each month, and we finally decided to go ahead and do it. So anyway, you can get both the sewing machine version and the machine embroidery version. Either or, they come in the same file for just $12.99. That's going to include your tea towel designs and your hot pad design. So
Nice.
check those out. You can find them on our website. All of this that was discussed today from these lovely ladies and the tea towel sets are found under what's new, the new releases
I'm
at
so glad you've made it so
mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com.
stinking easy.
We've really tried, so definitely check that out at mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com. New releases. So, all right, friends. Well, I think that about wraps things up today, right?
I'm going home and using my magnetic hoop.
You know what? Don't be scared of it, Kyle.
What
You
is
can
it?
do it.
It's my
If I have to
fingers.
pull out the swear jar for you,
Okay.
just use the swear jar. It's
Okay.
fine.
I will.
It's
I will.
fine. You got this, girl. So we believe in you, and it really.
I'm going to try it.
It's a game changer. It's
They are.
Like,
They are.
I mean,
Yeah.
and Crystal gave some excellent tips on how to use them today.
Thank you.
So thanks everyone for being with us. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd be so grateful if you shared it. Please go ahead and there's a little share button underneath the picture. Just share it with a friend. That would mean the world to us. Or of course, tag them in the comments. So, all right, we'll go ahead and end for today. Thanks for being with us. We sure love you and appreciate all that you do for us. And we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.